Welcome, my loves. Welcome back to the Reclamation, a place where we talk about all the things that help us to heal, especially when it comes to reclaiming ourselves in the divine feminine. I am so honored to share this space with you today because this episode feels like a sacred love letter. A love letter to the feminine, to the healer, and to the priestess within all of us. So today we are meeting Mary Magdalene, not just the historical or biblical figure, but as an archetype, a guide, and a mirror of the sacred feminine. She is sensual, wise, devoted, bold, and beautifully unapologetic. And for many of us, she is the lost piece of our spiritual story, the part that was hidden, shamed, or silenced. So let's first talk about who is this archetype, the Magdalene. Well, to reclaim the Magdalene is to reclaim the parts of ourselves that were told we were too much, that we were too emotional, too sensual, too mystical, and of course, too wild. The Magdalene is the woman who walks the path of devotion with her heart wide open. She is the embodiment of sacred sensuality, a sensuality that is rooted in her body, that is not ashamed of pleasure, her desire, or her presence. Think about that for a moment. When was the last time you really tapped into your sacred sensuality? That you felt so rooted in your body that you were not ashamed of your pleasure, your desire, or your presence. For some, maybe it's not a struggle, but for others, because of the wounds of the feminine, things like pleasure, desire, and presence don't feel so good, do they? The Magdalene is the one who stands at the foot of the cross and does not look away from pain. She holds fierce compassion. She is a high priestess. She is a healer. And she is a teacher of divine feminine mysteries. And remember this. She is you. She lives within your heart, your womb, and your voice. And when you reclaim her, you reclaim yourself. So let's take a moment to talk about the wound of the feminine. For so long, we were told to be spiritual. We had to be small. We had to be quiet. We had to be pure in a way that erased our bodies. But guess what? Magdalene reminds us that our bodies are holy, that our sensuality is sacred, and that our devotion is power. Our bodies are holy, our sensuality is sacred, and our devotion is power. She invites us to feel, to touch, to express, and to be both soft and strong, wild and wise. She is the complete embodiment of the divine feminine. I met Magdalene during my own deep healing journey. After the trauma of my accident, after the unraveling of who I thought I had to be, I found myself in the quiet, searching for something real, something ancient. She came to me in deep knowings, in meditations, and in the ache of my heart. And she reminded me that my healing wasn't just for me, it was for the collective. It was for the women who had lost their voices, their power, and their joy, right? Think about that for a moment, folks. Think about that. Healing wasn't just for me. Healing was for the collective, for the women who had lost their voices, their power, and their joy. Is that you? Was it you? Are you still that work in progress? Because through Magdalene, I reclaimed my right to be seen. I reclaimed my sacred sensuality. I reclaimed my voice as a healer and a teacher. And I reclaimed my devotion to love, to truth, and to service. Because for so long, I didn't feel like I had a right to be seen. So I stayed on the periphery. I didn't join in with the other things because I didn't feel like I was worthy to be in those circles of women. Have you ever felt that? Have you ever felt like you've been living your life on the periphery? When I reclaimed my sacred sensuality, I realized that it was okay to feel these sensual feelings, these sensual desires within my body. That it wasn't a bad thing. It didn't make me a bad girl to have this sacred sensuality within me and to awaken those parts of myself that I had hidden because of the lies I believed. I learned that it was not selfish to have these desires and to want these desires met. I learned that sensuality is a whole way of being. It's not just how we get dressed up. It's not just how we are with a partner. It's everything about us and the way we feel about ourselves in our bodies. The way we claim our body as a temple, something to be worshiped, something to be respected. Can you feel that? Can you feel the difference in that? I reclaimed my voice as a healer and a teacher. Now, if you've listened to any other parts of my podcast, you know I was a teacher for many, many years in a high school setting, teaching English. But my call as a teacher goes so much deeper than that. And when I combine that with my voice of the healer, it becomes something so much more sacred, so much deeper, so lovely. because I realize that the words that I speak when I am teaching are words of healing, are words of devotion. They are words of respect. And that is sacred. And then I remembered about being devoted to love, unconditional love, the kind of love that does not come with, if you love me, you would, and you fill in that blank. It's the kind of love that says, no matter what, I love you. I respect you. I show compassion to you. And then there's the devotion to my truth, the truth of who I was at the core, that had been covered up by the years of outdated, conditioned beliefs and values. Things that I had learned growing up that served me for a time, but they weren't who I was created to be. And so much of my adult life, I didn't speak that truth. I sugarcoated that truth in ways that were more acceptable to the communities that I was involved in, because I had the deep desire to be accepted, to fit in, to be part of the crowd. But what I learned is I wasn't truly a part of that crowd. I didn't fit in completely because I wore masks that covered up the truth of who I was as a Magdalene priestess, as an intuitive sound healer, as an energy worker, as a spirituality mentor. See, because spirituality is this big, broad umbrella that has so much underneath it. It's not assigned to a specific religion. Spirituality is something that is very personal and very different for every person. Even the people who are like us, their spirituality is different. And then my devotion to service. Now, I have always been devoted to things that I believe in. And I always put myself 100% in. But my devotion to my service of energy healing, of speaking the truth of that was hidden for so long. And now that I get to be fully and wholly who I am, my devotion to service is so much deeper than it's ever been. And that is because of my connection with Magdalene and what she has stirred in me. So if you feel this deep stirring within you, it could be that the Magdalene flame is lighting up inside of you. And here are just a couple of ways you can connect. You can do it through ritual and prayer, right? You can light a red candle, place a rose on your altar, and simply speak to her. Magdalene doesn't need an elaborate altar. She really doesn't. What she needs is the simplicity of you coming to her. So a red candle and a rose is enough. You can connect with the Magdalene within through body awareness, through movement, any kind of movement, through dance, moving your body with beautiful music. And the way you touch your own skin with reverence. Not just in the ways that we touch it when we are in the shower, cleansing ourselves, or afterwards putting moisturizer on, but making it a ritual, making it something sacred, believing that your body is sacred and touching it that way. Because this is how we let our body know that she is safe, that she is safe. We can connect with the Magdalene through womb healing, through a connection with our creative center, right? Our intuition and our feminine wisdom. When we heal our womb space, our creativity comes to life. Our intuition blossoms and opens up, and our feminine wisdom begins to speak to us. We can start a devotional practice with Magdalene. We can read her gospel. Have you ever read the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, the parts of it that they have found and put together? It's beautiful, and it shows her strength. It shows her compassion. It shows her love. It shows her true connection to the divine feminine. And it shows her devotion to her beloved Yeshua, the embodiment of the divine masculine. You can write her letters, right? We journal. Why not write love letters to Mary Magdalene? And then listen to her speak her love back to you. We can sing to her, right? And singing to her can just be in toning, right? As long she knows it's for her. This is about an intimate relationship. It is not about performance. Mary Magdalene does not need you to perform. She needs you to realize the intimacy of this relationship that you are trying to start with her. We can join in sisterhood, right? Because Magdalene calls us into sacred community. She calls us into healing the sister wound and to standing together in love. And I think that that is so important. In another episode, I've talked about what the sister wound is. And when we heal that, we don't have fear of coming together in sacred community, and we don't have fear of standing together in love, because we realize the importance of this, the depth of this, the sanctity and the sacredness of this. So before I close, I would like to give you just a short devotional message from Magdalene. So place your hands over your heart center, gently close down your eyes, and I want you to receive this message deeply within your heart and soul. You are not broken, beloved. You are the flame that refused to go out. You are the rose blooming through stone. You are the embodiment of love in motion. Take a deep breath into that message. Feel it in your cells, in your DNA. Feel it deep within your heart. Feel it deep within the parts of you that may still be hidden. And allow that to empower you. Feel her love growing in you. Thank you so much for walking this sacred path with me today. If Magdalene stirred something in you, I would love to hear about it. Share your thoughts. Tag me on Instagram. Send me a voice note. Because this is a living transmission. And it's even more powerful when it's shared. So don't forget to subscribe. Leave a review if this episode moved you. And come back next time where I am going to share a beautiful meditation to connect more deeply with Magdalene. So until then, be soft, be fierce, be holy. And remember, you are the Magdalene, beloved. And I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye for now.